Oh, yeah. I always talk loud. That's just the thing. But it's also being the deaf guy too, you know. Earmuffs, grown-ups only. Time. This man, get a sound bite.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just try to explain as best as I can. When I first came here from Colorado, we stumbled upon Long Wongs, and at the time, I think a man named Ronnie was running it, and it didn't have music. It had like happy hour acoustic acts on this little 6 foot by 15 foot, 8-inch high stage, for lack of a better term. And I remember approaching him and asking, because I had my first college band going, and I just met Curtis Grippy from, at that time, Strangelove. And we thought it would be, because we sort of hung out there for the wings and beers anyway, it's like, we should do shows here, you know? And I think Ronnie was receptive to it because, hey, we could sell beer, which is essentially what we are at that time in our lives anyway. We're beer salesmen. And if we could get people, that's the bar closed at 1 anyway. And I remember my first band here, Shadow Talk, did its, what do they call it now when you play every week? Residency on Sundays. And I remember the first deal was $160, a bucket of wings, and 2 pitchers per band member. So it became our clubhouse. It became our local little hub. And at that time, a lot of places would kind of roll up their doors at like 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday, or there was a couple dance clubs. Of course, there was the live clubs that sprung up a little bit after that. But it was Scott and Shree after that welcomed it with open arms, and it just became the place to kind of play. And I have many friends that still live here now that moved here 10, 15, 25 years ago for this Long Wongs experience, you know, like, and we sat there, the PA didn't exist. It kind of smelled like a septic tank sometimes because the plumbing was bad. It was tiny. The fire code was 56 people. I think we sort of looked at it as our own CBGB. And we all supported each other. We played with each other's bands there. And I think because it's not like we got away with murder. We just got away with being us. And then when Saracena got involved, she saw how well this could work, and she kind of organized it. So 2 or 3 days of the week, there'd be residencies. And then every weekend, there would be something new, you know. And at the time, the town was brimming with good alternative music. And so it made people feel like you were playing a big concert, you know, because there'd be 80 people shoved in this 50-person box, and they would dig it. We had in our band Be Strange, I believe it was, Tom Wally, the guy that owned Interscope Records at the time, saw us twice. Saw us once in LA and once here, and he set us up for the 3rd interview. And the Roxy existed then, Edsels, all the other places, and I called all my friends in bands, and they're like, we'll give our shows up, whatever room you need. So Tom Wally, the freaking president of the label, calls up and says, I want to see you at that wing place. And I'm like, Tom, we get really the place with the bad PA and the smell and the wings and stuff? And because we could book anything we wanted at Wong's at the time, and I was trying to make big grand plans. And he said, yeah, because if you can rock that, you can rock anything. We can put you on the road, and you'll show up at some little bar with a PA this big and a stage as big as a postage stamp, and you'll kill it. And that made total sense. If you have all the things working for you, it's easier to kill it. But if you're working against all odds, like no monitors, broken mics, beer spilling on your gear, you know, all the guys I knew that were lead singers in those days all have chipped teeth because the microphone was right by the door on the way out. So some drunk guy would knock the microphone and hit Robin Wilson in the mouth, or hit Brent Babb, or hit any of us, you know. It was almost kind of comical. Mm-hmm. I remember seeing people, like the mic stand would probably take a dump, and people would sit and then hold the mic for the singer because they couldn't get the mic stand to work anymore. And everybody, you know, helped each other out, and we would play gigs together. When Be Strange was doing Sundays there and Low Skies, we would do the Be Nude weekends, so they were called the Live Nude. So we would play every Sunday. We'd play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday we would like bounce the acoustic night and then just keep our gear there and play again, you know, and stuff like that. So it became our little clubhouse, which is kind of interesting because it did get looked at as a rite of passage place into such a strange place to actually be considered that. Flash forward a little bit to the second Long Wongs that opened up on Apache, which is where I met this young lady. The kids took that torch and they did the best they could to make this other weird little, I think it was like a Thai restaurant or something before it was the second Wongs. And the kids gravitated to that. Like the next 2 generations back were playing Long Wongs, getting open mic at Long Wongs, and it was
you guys.
well, and it was some kind of crazy legacy. And of course the Blossoms playing there and Glory Tones and people that were coming up and did eventually become, well, rock stars, if you will, you know. They would come back and play this place, you know. And then I remember seeing Dead Hot when Kevin Cronin from REO Speedwagon came in and played and sang lead for us. We were playing and John Doe from X came in and sang Gloria with us, you know. People would come after their shows and go to Long Wongs because they heard it was the hip musical place, you know. And so it was a great time, and I have kids from 40 to 20 still come to me and tell us about the heyday, P. Tell us what it was like. Well, we had to walk uphill in the sun both ways to get our amps in the bar, you know. And all I can say is they dubbed me the mayor of Tempe, actually the time mayor of Mill Avenue, and I would just help Sarah book a bunch of stuff, and we made a lot of cool stuff happen. It was just having an opportunity to do it. So I feel blessed that I was a part of that, and I'm considered a major part of that. So, and that's pretty damn cool, you know, and so hopefully there'll be another one. There always is, you know, and you just find a place to do it, and that's where your next stars will come from anyway, you know. So. Cool.
Yeah, PC's messed with you. He's the best interviewer out of all of us. I know, right? He's so fucking good at it.
Sure.
He's so good at it.
The Legend of Long Wongs. And this is how it all began. The Legend of Long Wongs. And this is how it all began.
Question.